What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Yee Yee Podcast. Been a long time.
Woo! We're in. We're back, baby.
You got all three Smith brothers here.
The OGs.
Parker, Granger, and Tyler. And Yee Yee is going out of business.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah.
It was a good run. What's the future of Yee Yee looking like, guys? Granger,
It was not good.
it's been a crazy couple months. I've been gone. I haven't even been in Texas. I haven't even been with Yee Yee. Yee Yee Nation wants to know what's going on.
What's going on is Yee Yee is more powerful than it's ever been. Yee Yee is rolling better than it ever has been. And you're about to have me super involved once this tour is over. So I think Yee Yee Apparel, what Parker said was all just clickbait. It's actually, we're rocking right now.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go any further, let's go ahead, Parker. Let's give a round of applause for Tyler for holding. No, just for Tyler for holding the ship down for about 5 months, going insane, trying to tour, to manage a touring artist and run an apparel company all by himself. Thank you, dude. Thank you for doing that.
Nope, that's what brothers are for.
But we are back.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, last fall, I was presented with an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., to Capitol Hill Baptist Church, to be a pastoral intern there for an internship program that they've been doing for about 25 years. I became a Christian about 2 years ago in early 2021 and got connected to Mark Dever, who is an author and a theologian and runs this conference called Together for the Gospel. Long story short, Granger and I went to that conference after we became Christians and got connected with Mark. He invited me to come visit in D.C. and people are like, I come back now and people are like, so you gonna be a pastor? Or like, it doesn't make any sense to the average person to hear why I would do that. But it's just a great opportunity to go to soak in the culture of a healthy church, to read, to write. They pay you, you live on Capitol Hill. And so it's just an awesome opportunity for me as a young believer to be able to kind of build a foundation of what is a healthy church? How can I be involved and help my healthy church? And yeah, so I was gone for 5 months. And so I presented the idea to Granger and Tyler was, manages Granger full time and is kind of like a founder role at Yee Yee, where I handle all the day-to-day stuff. And so Tyler had to completely step it up, basically change his entire Monday through Friday to be able to take over for me while I was gone. And so that's where I've been gone all year. And Tyler's been holding down the fort. How was it, Tyler?
It was good, man. Looking back, it was very, very stressful. But I mean, ultimately it was, when we brought you on, you know, I was doing everything, me and Granger was touring a lot. And so I was, you know, managing that, but also doing a lot of the Yee stuff. And, but then we were able to bring you on, in 2016?
Yeah, summer of 2016, I graduated from Texas.
Just the other day. But, and then, so my role kind of, I was out of the weeds and kind of pulled back to a bird's eye view more. But eventually that got to the point where, honestly, I was kind of like maybe how you felt recently, where I was like, man, I'm not doing much at all. If anything, it's kind of all out of my hands, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because I was able to focus on things Granger had going on or other individual interests and stuff like that, and myself. But I found myself just so far away from designs and just the pulse of the company, so to speak. Like, again, I'm excited to get back to not as much involvement as I am now, but it's you leaving and then me having to come back has really just like revitalized not only just my passion for just, clothing and apparel and fashion industry, like what we do, but just been able to reconnect with all our vendors, establish those relationships again through, River City and, CC Creations and Pinpoint and MTAR and Independent, all these people that you were dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I got back, with them, and I was able to, revamp my creative juices and with ideas and product concepts and stuff like that. And so it's been a lot of fun. It'll be good though to have you back and then me slowly peel back not as much as I did before, but, give you back some of those roles. But yeah, long story short, it was really tough having you gone, but at the same time, it was a blessing.
Do you have any funny stories when I was gone? Granger, do you have any?
Well, we turned your office into a massage parlor.
That's true.
There's that.
Well, yeah, / a vibe room. Massage parlor just kind of sounds PG-13.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is since you've been gone, we've probably undergone the most changes ever that we've had to Yee Yee since its founding. With the big pivot in my role, Yee Yee Day 3, and just a lot of internal changes, which it was a crazy time for you to be gone, and the ship is kind of sailing right now, and I'm very excited to be able to step back in. In fact, I talked to everyone today that I'm stepping back into a more prominent role. As you're kind of step down, proportionally I'll come up. And what I mean by that is, I travel on this tour, and every night I go to meet and greets, and I see people, and I'm like, that's an awesome shirt. Where'd you get it? And they're like, you're a merch guy. So I'm like, hey, Nard, can you give me that shirt? That's amazing. And it's a little bit frustrating that I see from fans my own shirts sometimes. And so I'm getting back into being more and more involved. So that's another thing that you've kind of inspired by being gone.
Cool. Yeah, you've been spread super thin over the years, just with touring full time, with YouTube channel full time, with a podcast full time, then writing these books
After midnight.
And then after midnight every single day. It's just crazy. So this is your last tour. What has been, well, are you approaching these shows any differently? No, because you've always kind of wanted to be really intentional, knowing. I remember even like 3, 4, 5 years ago when you were touring really hard, and you were like, I never want to take it for granted, because you never know when it's going to be your last show. You never know when you're going to step off the stage for the last time. Has this tour been any different, or have you kind of just always had that mentality?
Yeah, it's interesting because I even wrote that same story in the Like a River book coming out August 1st. And that idea of you never know when it's your last time. And then now I actually do know when it's my last time. So
Lord willing.
Yeah, Lord willing, it's actually a huge blessing that Lord willing, I'll step off the stage August the 26th at Billy Bob's, and that'll be it as far as full-time touring. And so that's a good thing, to be able to kind of pace myself and soak up every moment. The band is in a really good place. Like, everyone is, Johnny and Dusty and Todd are probably better than emotionally that I've seen them. And
it's hard not to be when every show is sold out, great fans, amazing energy.
Yeah.
And people know that there's only so many shows left.
Yeah. It's interesting though. Tim, my buddy Tim, is a songwriter who's been, with my career for 20 years. He texted me the other day and he said, hey man, I got an idea. How about you and your brothers find an artist, a young kid, up and coming artist, and you let him inherit Yee Yee and Earl Dibbles and the songs and your hits, and he plays those and then gives you commission, and you kind of, like, he just carries on the torch of Yee Yee. And during that text, I thought, oh, he thinks I'm leaving Yee Yee. Like, I said I'm stepping down from touring to pursue ministry, and he thinks that also includes Yee Yee. So I quickly texted him, was like, oh, no, Earl Dibbles is not going anywhere. Yee Yee's not going anywhere. This is a 3-part company, me and my 2 brothers.
Well, I think people just expand on that, because even if your buddies are saying that, for the average listener and watcher, like, what's going to happen to Earl Dibbles Jr.? Let's start there.
Well, Earl, for one, like I told him, Earl exists every single night on After Midnight with a segment called Earl Dibbles Dumb Criminals. So I am Earl every day still. Not a lot of people that listen to this podcast will listen to After Midnight, but he's still part of my life every day in that way. And I have been thinking about the next Earl Dibbles video. I have an idea that I just can't wait to shoot. So, and that's going to happen after touring. So,
what kind of video?
Oh, I don't want to give it away on this podcast, but I'll tell you as soon as we finish. I'm excited about it.
Cool. So Earl's not going anywhere. I wanted to share.
But we need to get him saved, though.
Yeah, Earl does need Jesus. I wanted to share. You guys said Lord willing, and I heard a lot of people say that when I was in Washington D.C. and I was like, where does that come from? Why do you guys always say Lord willing, even when you're talking about like, yeah, tomorrow we'll get lunch, Lord willing. And I'm like, it's almost like a joke, like, I'm going to go throw this away, Lord willing.
Yeah.
But I talked to some of the guys about it, and they said, James 4, verse 13, it says, come now, you who say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such and such town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit, yet you do not know that what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you're a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. And it's interesting because you don't think about on a day-to-day basis how much you just think that tomorrow is guaranteed, how 5 years in the future is guaranteed, 10 years is guaranteed.
Yep.
So there you go. It's a little,
Yeah,
why people say Lord willing.
When you said, August, my last show was planned August 26th, Billy Bob's, it sold out. Lord willing, we get there, you could leave right now and get in a car wreck. Or you could lose your voice, or you could get some sort of sickness, or you could do this or that. You just never know to that verse. It's like all we're guaranteed.
Yeah, and
today.
our devotional reading part of it was in Proverbs 21 today, and I posted it on my social media. But it's funny that on Proverbs 21, Solomon starts and ends with total sovereignty. It starts with verse 1, a king's heart is like channeled water in the Lord's hands. He directs it wherever he chooses. He directs his heart. That's crazy. Like your heart, your passions, your desires, everything. The Lord directs it. And then the last verse 31 says, this is one of the greatest verses in the Bible for sovereignty. A horse is prepared for the day of battle, but victory comes from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing right now. We're preparing the horse, and that's what we always do. We prepare the horse for battle. But we don't know the victory.
You think that's especially hard for like Westerners, especially Americans, who have a good fighting spirit and a good independence and a good sense of justice, but it can be hard.
We used to, brother. We used to.
It can be hard to admit that out loud. It's kind of scary to admit, oh, I'm not in control.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge. And then I would encourage people to dig into what meekness actually means. Because being meek is not weakness. It takes incredible courage to hold power under control in meekness. And so Americans would need to look at it in terms of surrendering to sovereignty or being meek to their king. It is not a weak surrender retreat. It's a reverence of integrity and power and courage.
It's like a reclaiming or redeeming of what it means to be under good authority.
Yeah.
In a sense. Cool. So back to your tour. What do you think you're going to miss most about tour? What do you think you're going to miss the least?
When Amber and I recorded the audiobook for Like a River, and it's going to come out when the book releases. And that book, by the way, that's my most important piece of media I've ever put out. So that in that audiobook, we did a Q&A at the end, Amber and I, and that question came up, what are you going to miss most? And you would think, what would you think I would say to that? What am I going to miss most about the road? What would you think I would say?
The fans.
Yeah, everyone's going to say that, but that's not true, because I love the fans, and I have devoted, I think, on a higher level of most artists, I have given more of myself to fans over the last many years. And so I feel like when I leave on August 26th, Lord willing, I will have given everything I can to fans, and we'll continue after that. But what I'm going to miss is being on that stage with my boys, Todd, Dusty, Johnny, jamming out to Diesel and Backroad Song and When the Good Guys Win and You're in It and Boot Fits and Don't Tread on Me, America, and like watching, having fun antics with Todd, seeing Dusty just do his crazy stuff, feeling that energy. That's That's something I'll never be able to recreate in any other environment in my life.
Yeah. What about miss the least?
Sleep, the lack of sleep on a tour bus. Hate it. I hate it. And I can't really ever get away from early flights. I'll probably always have that when I'm traveling, preaching or whatever, but sleeping on a tour bus just sucks.
Does the rest of the crew and band think that as well? I always kind of enjoyed sleep on the road.
Well, some people, say like Todd will stay up till 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and then sleep till 2 o'clock in the afternoon till sound check. So most of his sleep is parked at a nice little rumble next to the venue. I go to bed right when the show's over, and usually Bull's firing up the bus and I'm going through downtown Chicago just bouncing around, and then I've got to do after midnight, and then I've got whatever I got to do in the morning. I'm not sleeping very well. Hate it. And being away from the family is connected to that. Sorry.
Tyler, how's it been for you after you've built Granger's career from cold calling bars to what it is today, and then seeing it all for the last time, one last summer tour?
It's been bittersweet. It's so many mixed emotions, and I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet, but yeah, we've had more years of getting paid nothing and fans not coming than we've had of successful years.
Yeah.
That was most of my childhood. I remember Tyler cold calling bars to just be like, can you let Granger come and play?
I still have my original notebook, my green notebook, that I would write all my notes when I called people, what their name was, what their kid's name was, what we talked about. And most all of them were the most money we'd ever get is $500 and a case of beer. And that was a really good show. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to miss, but at the end of the day, like, what a blessing that we started like that for so many years, and then now we've played arenas and stadiums across the country. So to what Granger said, I think what I'll miss the most is a combination of being able to travel the world, Australia and, Canada and Mexico and all these countries and every state and every single state in the U.S. Except I didn't go to Alaska with y'all, so I hit 49. But I'm going to miss, I'm excited to go to the Pacific Northwest and hit, for somebody that's never been to the West Coast, like up in Oregon, where the Goonies was filmed, it's the best, example I could give. It's just incredible. We were in Idaho and Sun Valley and Ketchum on an off day, just gorgeous places that we've been able to see that, not many people get to see. And then I did have a moment too, like you said, what you're going to miss the most is I was with Dusty or Todd. I was with each of these guys during this last tour that we just got back from, just kind of soaking up that moment, being like, dude, I might, I'll see Todd again, but not in this kind of situation where we're such good friends and sharing such commonalities and the road stories and just those moments. It's soak these up, because it could be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years that I see Todd again. Maybe I'll see him in Beaumont, but yeah. It's not like this anymore. Not watching Dusty up there, not sharing road stories and being on the bus and throwing the football and sitting in a chair and while Todd smokes and drinks a Modelo and I'm just sitting there talking to him about life and, 10 to 15 years of relationships with these guys.
At the beginning of this conversation, we were talking about calling bars. I thought of something the other day. Every once in a while these memories come up, but I remembered how many times we were playing a bar that day, and I was calling the bar in the afternoon.
What kind of stranger saying, can't wait to get tickets, are they sold out?
Yeah.
No, we haven't sold any.
And then they'd be like, Backwoods Saloon. Oh, hey, just wondering what time the show is tonight. 9 o'clock. Who's playing?
That feels like the other day
know.
We were doing that.
Who's playing? I don't know. Well, I think, can you find out if it's Granger Smith? Because if it is, we're all coming. Me and all of my friends. I have 30 friends. Yeah, that sounds right. Granger something, Granger Smith. Okay, is it sold out yet? And they're like, sold out? No. There'll be plenty of room tonight.
We're not selling advance tickets. You can just get a ticket at the door. As a matter of fact, it's free, no cover.
But what happened was we would get there, And the manager would go, we've actually been getting some calls about y'all tonight. And we'd go,
So just to confirm, before you would play a venue, you would call that venue pretending to be someone else excited for the show that
many times. And then Amber would call many times with different voices. Amber would say, hi, y'all. Is Granger Smith sold out tonight? We just love seeing him. We're coming 3 hours.
And keep in mind, nobody was coming to our shows. So it was just hilarious to say as it sold out.
And then another thing is when Tyler was booking those shows for $500 or whatever in a case of beer, I would have my phone with sound effects of office phones ringing in the background, so it sounded like he was at some big booking agency.
Oh yeah, I would call Backwoods Saloon and say, hey, Randy, this is John. I got Tyler on the phone for you. Can you hold just a second? And then make them hold. And then I would get on the phone and say, hey, Randy, this is Tyler. Yeah, I'm just looking for another date for Granger Smith. We're just ready to
Trying to fill the 27th.
Yeah, we did. We had so many tricks.
you guys played the system before people even wrote books about playing the system.
Out of total desperation.
That's so funny. Well, in regards to the tour, I think I'll miss just waking up in a beautiful city, and I never had anything to do. It was like a vacation for me. Everyone's like doing load in and stuff, and I just get to sleep in. Or I'd go and read my book in the front of the bus with like some beautiful mountain range and watch the sunrise while I'm just reading, sipping some coffee. That's just like, doesn't even feel like real life.
So when are you coming on the road?
I don't know. Good
On this
question.
tour?
Maybe Oregon. Brian's coming, we think, Lord willing, to Oregon. And we're going to try to shoot the Yee Yee Apparel fall launch on the coast. We have a Friday off.
So somebody comment below if you see this and there's a spot on the west coast, west of Bend and Ashland and Centerville, Oregon. I think that's southwest portion of Oregon. We're going to go to the coast. I think that's the plan.
So this is a real deal too. I've been telling people every night, because this is a real story, but every night at meet and greet, people are like crying, and I say, what's going on? And they say, I'm just so sad. And I say, why are you so sad? And they say, because this is the last time you're going to be playing in Minnesota. And
Who told you that?
they say, yeah, they say that every time. And my response changes, but it's usually along the lines of, look, don't misunderstand me. This is not me retiring or slowing down or needing more time to be with the family. That's not what this is, although those things are nice. This is about changing the message. So I still am going to travel. I'm still going to, what I would love to do is do a podcast tour, do a Smiths tour. Yee Yee Apparel is going to be with all this stuff, so I'd love to go out and do a Smiths tour where we do like 4 or 5 cities with the whole family. You guys too. And
So
we do
a bus so we can do this, or how are we going to get there?
No, I mean, I think we, because we're selling the buses, and we'll just jump on some flights and Southwest Airlines and rent a van or whatever it takes. But I think,
Where do we put all the merch?
all the merch. I like that. Optimistic.
I mean, we can't just put a couple T-shirts in a bag and say we're coming to your city, It's got to be a set.
Well, that we could ship ahead. Nard ships ahead on every flight that we do now. So, but it kind of depends on if you guys showed up. I mean, if 200 people showed up in Kansas City on a Smiths tour where we did a meet and greet and met everybody and said a few words, maybe brought a guitar with me, played backroad song, whatever, I don't know. I think that could be really cool for our future.
Well, speaking of merch, we do have our summer launch dropping. If this releases Thursday, it will be tomorrow, Friday, June 16th. Tyler, what can people expect? You designed all that stuff.
I mean, honestly, a lot of this stuff was done before you left by you, so I can't take all the credit. A lot of new stuff that I threw in there, though. What can people expect? I think we got 35 to 40 products. It's arguably, I know we say this a lot, but it's arguably our biggest launch ever. We were talking to Maddie today where we literally don't have any more space in the warehouse for products. We're at capacity. So y'all can expect a ton of different products. You can expect your classics, like the shirt I'm wearing, just kind of fastball down the middle, Yee Yee shirt. Like this shirt, this polo that Parker designed that we've been working on for about a year and a half. Just with the America vibe, this is your July 4th.
Super stretchy.
Super stretchy. Fits really well. These are probably my favorite.
He's pointing to Granger's shirt for those listening.
Yeah, this is the best of these. What do you call these? Performance tees? Performance fishing?
Long sleeve performance fishing.
These are the best we have ever done, and we've done it several years in a row. I wore this in Idaho fly fishing recently, and it was too cold because it was wicking the heat, body heat away so fast that I needed to actually layer up. So it's got this thickness to it, but it just feels really, really good.
Yeah, those are super good quality. They're completely custom, extremely stretchy, best material we've ever done, and we have like 5 different really fun logos on them or different patterns. So it's not just like plain solid colors. They're all really different, really fun stuff. Just like this polo, it's really similar material. Yeah, so that's going to be coming out Friday, and looking forward to it. Summer 2023 Yee Yee launch. And
doing our first ever white hoodie that we've ever done. The eagle.
Yeah, we got an eagle with a mullet on it. Just a bunch of fun stuff. Getting back to some of the fun stuff that we haven't done in a while. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up this update of what in the world's going on at Yee Yee. We're at this really interesting crossroads with Granger coming out of music, but then getting super involved. And like you heard it here first, like he's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be super involved. You're going to be still seeing Granger travel. You're still going to see the Smiths travel, Lord willing. And
honestly, as a matter of fact, I mean, it's going to be the most the brothers have been involved with Yee Yee ever.
Yeah.
I think because Granger's so busy with the million things, but he's leaving touring, so there's some space there. Plus the want to be way more involved. Parker was gone for 6 months. He's back. I've been doing this. I've been around the whole time, but more involved than I ever have been. So all 3 of us. It's gonna be a crazy, fun, wild ride, Lord willing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep doing this podcast as long as you guys want it. We'll just give you guys updates along the way. I don't think we're gonna do it weekly, but we'll give you guys updates. If you guys comment below, like any ideas, anything you want us to talk about, any themes, any guests you want us to have, we'll jump on here and give you guys updates every once in a while.
Call it the Lord willing podcast.
Yeah. And then for anything else, just follow us on social media on Instagram, Yee Yee Apparel, Granger, Tyler, Parker, and that's how you can kind of keep up with us on the day-to-day. And yeah, anything else, guys?
Man, I'm ready.
It's good to be back.
I'm ready to get this company where it needs to be.
Let's do it. All right, see you guys.